Welcome to my channel. I want to talk to you about how I passed my PMP on the first try. And I want to keep this short and sweet because I know there are a lot of PMP videos out there with people sharing their tips, their tricks, what they did. So I just want to highlight what I did, hit it and quit it, and hope to inspire you with something that I say about what I did to help inspire you and encourage you on your PMP journey so that you can also pass your PMP exam. Let's begin. First thing I did was I created a schedule, and this schedule I used Microsoft Word, and I gave it a name, Ethel's PMP Success Plan. I calculated the number of pages in each PMBOK, including the Agile Practice Guide, and I divided that I did backwards planning, so over the course of several weeks. So if whatever the page number was, it was like 900 or something pages, or is what it came to. I said, okay, at the very least, I'm going to need 9 weeks, right? Let's just go there. 9 weeks, so 100 pages a week or whatever it came out to. That ended up equating to 10 pages a day, give or take. Some days it was a little bit more, like 15, but about 10 pages a day. So I committed 2 hours a day, typically in the evenings, to intentionally read the PMBOK, focused reading. And I also incorporated different things I found online, such as there was this guy from the UK. He had 200 Agile practice questions, which helped me learn Agile while I studied basically Waterfall, which is the PMBOK. And if I can get the Agile questions right, I knew I was on track with Waterfall, because Waterfall most of the times is the antithesis of what the Agile solution was. So I added that to my schedule. I also finally got in the PMI Atlanta study group, which I'd never really done a study group before, so this was an interesting experience. It was more presentations from experts in the field, or people who had passed their PMP, what they did, so just more learning from one another, going through simulation questions, understanding why something is or is not the correct solution for that simulation. In addition to that, I did practice exams from Udemy, and I chose PMP with Ray to do that. I did start with his videos, but I didn't find them super helpful, but I knew he had content that would ultimately be helpful. So I went ahead and purchased his practice exams. It was about $20 for a test bank of about 4 or so exams, and they were spot on. They helped me prepare the most, in addition to those 200 practice questions from the guy from the UK who has it's like an 8-hour video on YouTube. I did like 20 minutes a day. Sometimes during my lunch period, I would just let it play in the background and, absorb by osmosis, if that's even a thing. But I ultimately focused on what I got wrong. I was nailing the exams, different free ones I was finding online. I was doing really well. I was scoring above 80 or 85% most of the time. And when I started doing Rays, the first one was good, the practice one was good, and then I did the first simulation, did okay. Then I did another one, and I started to get like 50 something percent, and I got worried because I was closer to test day, and now I'm suddenly starting to score terribly. But I knew that either one, the exam was spot on and it was just hard and it was going to prepare me, or two, maybe I just didn't know the material. I chose the greater story, to tell myself the greater story. And the greater story is I'm going to focus on why I got the answer wrong, and that's how I'm going to learn. So that's what I did. I turned it into experiential learning, in essence, and focused on what I did wrong. And a lot of times when I would retake the test, I may not have scored much higher. But if I understood why I got something wrong, then that's a win for me. Add to that this amazing book by Andy Crowe, How to Pass Your PMP Exam on the First Try. I highly recommend it. This was a game changer for me. As most of you know, if you've already started using the PMBOK, it's very dry material. It's not written to be entertaining. However, if you have experience in the field, which is what the certification is intended for, you can start to crosswalk, if you will, what you're reading in the dry PMBOKs to what you're actually seeing in your projects, and start to make some of those connections, which will help the PMBOK come to life. This book is written in such an easy to read fashion. Even the test questions at the end of each section are super helpful. The battery exam in the back is super helpful. He has online snippets. It's just short, it's concise, it's just easy. And this was a game changer for me. And I included this on my schedule that I made. And I'll tell you that I didn't order the PMBOK 7th edition or the Agile Practice Guide right away. I actually waited to the last minute to order these. I had them electronically and I was using the book that way, but I'm a hard copy person, so it wasn't working for me. Closer to test time, because there were just issues sometimes. Maybe my laptop wasn't working, or if I couldn't remember my password to even open up the document. I just needed the book handy, especially with traveling as much as I was doing on the road. I just didn't want to be lugging around sometimes a laptop and trying to figure out if I had enough juice or battery power to get my documents. I'll digress. And then this is a PMBOK 6th edition, which I also delayed ordering. I did do a lot of rote memorization in the very beginning. I would say it was not successful, but here is my index card organizer, where I carried around in these two totes about 700 different cards I ended up creating over time, and there's just more. And I will tell you that had its place on the aircraft at times, but ultimately I learned, and in the gym, but ultimately I learned the most from doing the practice exams. This is one of the first books I bought when I was trying to go do this by myself, and I don't recommend that. It wasn't helpful at all. I wouldn't say it's a complete waste of money, but I didn't find it helpful. The only thing that came in handy in this book is the glossary, sometimes, people define things slightly different, and that's the only thing that came in handy. But I'll tell you, when I did the schedule, and I stuck to the schedule for the most part, there were some delays. I did get behind and was starting to feel discouraged, but I continued to remind myself that I was doing something to push me closer to my goal. So I kept telling myself the greater story. On April 23rd, perfect storm when I walked in there, didn't sleep well the night before, didn't eat breakfast, just really had a lot going on that Saturday. Walked out of that test center, passing the exam, and not just passing, but above target in every domain. So when I tell you your intentionality and telling yourself the greater story works, it works and it pays off. You just have to want it and put the time in. Now, you can pass your PMP exam on the first try, but let me tell you something. If you walk out of that testing center and it says not pass, that is not a game changer and it's not a deal breaker. All that means is you have an opportunity to fine tune what you did wrong, what you think you did wrong on the test. And you go in there and you try again. It's okay. You may not pass on the first try, but it's not a deal breaker. I told myself that if I don't pass, then it wasn't intended for me to pass. Then my experience would have been going through the process again. But in my case, I passed on the first try. I know you can do it. Hang in there and remember to tell yourself the greater story. What you eat matters. If you want to prepare well and pass the exam on the first try, one of the things you can do is remember to eat more plants. Here's an example of my schedule as well. As I studied, I snacked on things that will boost my brain power and my focus, in addition to drinking water. If you want to learn more, follow me on the socials at I Eat More Plants. Thanks for watching.